Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Women in Weightlifting podcast with Mark House and Christy Brewer. We are joined this morning by Shayla Moore, who, despite just getting married, I'm still going to refer to by her old last name because she hasn't changed it yet. So, Shayla, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And this is actually our last podcast before we take off for Detroit for the 59A session next Friday evening. So yeah, you're the last athlete we actually get to talk to before we head to Detroit. So Shayla, congratulations on getting married. I understand you just got married 2 weeks ago?
Pretty much 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your new last name?
My new last name is Hutchins. So
okay.
I have to start getting used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you gonna compete under Hutchins? Or are you gonna compete under?
I will. I'll compete under Hutchins, but once I get all my name changes and everything done, which I'm not even worried about that right now. I'm just trying to get.
Because when Taylor got married, I still trip over her name too. So
she's forever Taylor Turner. I'm like,
I know,
sorry,
right?
girl.
Yeah, I still refer to her as that as well.
And Shayla, I haven't had the same problem with yours. It'll always be Shayla Moore Hutchins for me.
Yeah, right.
So we always kind of start in the same place, which is just kind of your journey. So how did you get into weightlifting?
So USA Weightlifting was doing an active recruiting search. And I was at Baylor doing acrobatics and tumbling, and my strength and conditioning coaches were like, hey, you need to look into weightlifting. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm strong in the weight room and everything, but I don't know about actually trying to pursue something like that. I actually thought that I was going to do CrossFit, which is actually really funny now that when I look at the CrossFitters, I'm like, there's no way that I could actually do that.
They're huge.
Right.
Most CrossFitters are massive.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't see myself. I'm like not into cardio at all. And now doing weightlifting, I'm like, yeah, I definitely feel like this is the right track for me. So USA Weightlifting was doing an active recruiting search. They had invited me out to Chicago to do a recruiting camp thing where they were showing me the lifts, teaching me about what weightlifting was. And I loved it when I was there. And they paired me with Spencer Arnold. When I got back to Georgia, I went to my first weightlifting practice there with him. He gave me 10s on front squat. And I was like, okay, I think this is my thing. It was really interesting figuring out that I wasn't going to just do snatch and clean and jerk every day like I thought. But yeah, pretty much USA Weightlifting recruited me from Baylor, and I've been in love with it ever since.
Yeah, because I remember you were kind of showed up on the scene.
Yeah. We're like, who is this chick? At least I was like, dang, she's strong.
Well, yeah, because you showed up with a 115 clean and jerk, and I'm like, a 70 snatch, and I'm like, who is this girl?
It was crazy. I didn't know what all went into the sport, so I kind of just threw myself in and trusted Spencer and was like, okay, I'm just gonna go on this ride with you.
Yeah, because when Jessica Lucero and I were talking, about a year ago, and we're like, okay, who's gonna break the clean and jerk record? And her bet was actually on you. I mean, that was that's where she thought it would be, because she's like, Shayla's just so freaky strong, and I'm like, yeah. You're not wrong. I bet on Taylor, but nothing against you, Shayla.
But, no, I understand.
So you said,
hey, what year was that? I was curious. How long have you been in the sport?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2018, so I started 2018 in the summer.
Because what was your first major competition? Which was it, the American Open in 18?
Yeah, American Open 3 in Vegas. Okay. So it was a super huge one. I was like, wow, I'm really, really going in here. And it was like everyone was everywhere.
Talk about jumping into the deep end. I mean, that was the 1,600 athletes, and
yeah,
I mean, it was
actually a super huge event.
Yeah. That was
well, it was also the first one with all the new weight classes.
Right. Yes. So I did actually compete one time as a 58 at a local competition. And then Spencer was like, okay, well, now you're going to be 9. And so at that time, I wasn't really even struggling with weight. So I was just like, okay, well, I guess I get an extra kilo.
Yes. How tall are you?
I'm 5 foot even.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty short. Yeah.
pretty solidly of either a 55 or a 59.
Right. Yeah.
So what do you walk around at now?
I walk around at 62. Yeah, pretty much 62. I wish that I could be higher than that because I love cooking and eating and trying different kinds of foods. So yeah, 62 is my walking around weight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so are you in the middle of cutting right now then?
I am. Yeah.
Well,
It's
Christy, I'm sure we'll talk to you about nutrition here in a little bit, but
yeah.
you were in, what'd you say, tumbling? Acrobat?
Yes, it's called acrobatics and tumbling.
Okay. What is that? Like, compare that to gymnastics for me. What is that?
So it actually is under the umbrella of USA Gymnastics. It's kind of just like another discipline of gymnastics, but it's only offered at the collegiate level right now. So it is the only other sport other than football to start at the collegiate level and trickle down to the club level, high school level, and things like that. So it's actually its 12th year going in this year. So it's very new. My freshman year, it was only like 4 years old. So pretty much just creates more opportunities for women in cheerleading, gymnastics, and just that have overall tumbling to have more opportunities at the collegiate level and receive scholarships.
So, I mean, is it floor exercises? What does an acrobat competition look like?
Yeah, so it's an hour and a half long meet. There's 6 different events, kind of like track. There's heats within all the events. So you have your compulsory event, which like gymnastics has both teams doing the same exact skills, and they're just being compared based off of technique. And then you have your acro event, 3 different heats, pyramid event, 3 different heats, toss event, tumbling event, and at the end there's your team event, which looks like your traditional cheerleading routine, but has all of those acro elements in there. So it's been a long working progress in trying to get recognition in the sport. This year is actually our first year being recognized as an NCAA emerging sport. So it's been a wild ride with acrobatics and tumbling. And it's just been really amazing to get other young women to know about it and to be able to receive scholarships at the collegiate level.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Now, were you a cheerleader in high school, or were you a gymnast in high school?
Yeah,
or?
I was a cheerleader for about 15 years. Before,
oh, wow.
Yeah, before. And so my mom was like, yeah, I need to get something out of this, cheerleading. There are scholarships in cheerleading. There aren't many scholarships offered in gymnastics. So this really just closes that gap and gives, like I said, more opportunities for collegiate scholarships.
Yeah, that's actually really phenomenal. How'd you end up at Baylor?
So I actually didn't apply for any other schools or look at any other schools, actually. So a friend of a friend had told me about it, and I kind of was just like, no. And her daughter was at Baylor. I was like, no. At the time, I was also running track, and I thought that I was going to run track in college at like a smaller college. But then I was like, I've built up all these years of tumbling. I have this talent in tumbling. It's pretty much second nature to me. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to try to learn this new sport. And I'm going to receive the scholarship, and I'm just going to see where I fit in this sport. And I fit in really well. So
that's cool.
So what's your degree in?
My degree is actually in sociology with a minor in forensic science. So I'm really into all those mystery type forensic just shows and things. And growing up, I loved all the little mystery games on the computer and things. So
that's crazy.
So what do you, I mean, other than training, which I realize is a kind of a full-time gig, are you working right now, or are you just training?
Yeah, so I'm actually the head coach at Emmanuel College in Georgia for their acrobatics and tumbling team.
Oh wow, okay, so that's really
yeah.
So you're not doing the sociology and forensics thing yet.
Yeah, I'm not. So I actually was doing a master's in forensic science right after I left Baylor, and I was just training weightlifting, and then the job opened up at Emmanuel College in Georgia, and so this is the first school in the state of Georgia to offer acrobatics and tumbling. And so I took on the job because I wanted there to be a school in Georgia that offered acrobatics and tumbling, because I'm from Georgia. And there's so much talent here in cheerleading and gymnastics.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted to be able to give that opportunity that I didn't have, being able to stay in my home state to do acrobatics and tumbling.
So where are you at in Georgia?
I'm in Jefferson, Georgia. So like very northeast Georgia, like almost South Carolina.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Emory for law school, so
Okay.
I spent 3 years in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So familiar with parts of the state. I'm not familiar with. I mean, we drove to South Carolina once, so
Yeah. So like straight up 85. I'm up there.
it's such a beautiful part of the country, though.
Yeah, it is. It is for
And
sure.
how big is the school?
So the school is actually pretty small. It's less than 1,000 students. But we have like 31 different sports. So like bass fishing,
Wow.
free. Yeah, they have like all kinds of different sports. I'm like, bring weightlifting here.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you could. But yeah, it's a pretty small school. It's a faith-based institution. It on a bunch of land. Agriculture is a huge thing there. Education programs and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty small school, but it's very welcoming of acrobatics and tumbling. So I love it.
I mean, God, you should start a weightlifting program there.
I know.
Yeah,
Do
I
both.
know.
Do both.
And especially I mean, given the
time.
the depth of like coaching talent that there is within an hour of there,
Right. Yeah.
it wouldn't be that hard to get people to come.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely wouldn't be hard.
Yeah.
So are you still working on the master's in forensics, or is that kind of?
I'm not. I put that on pause to be able to build up and grow the team. So last year, I was the only coach for the team and trying to recruit. All the things that go with managing and building up a program. I was like, I'm going to put my master's on hold for now. And then I can go back to it at some point. So
for those of you who are listening, that is Emmanuel. Say it again. Emmanuel College.
Emmanuel College in Franklin Springs, Georgia.
Franklin Springs, Georgia. And if you have any interest in acrobatics or a child who's interested in acrobatics, reach out to Shayla and build the Emmanuel College acrobatics team. And try and convince her to build a weightlifting team as well. Just saying. That's like that. I mean, that's super cool. I mean, you're basically getting a chance to not only build a program from the ground up, but you're building a sport from the ground up.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that could be a very interesting career path over the next 20 or 30 years,
Yeah. And I love it. It's been amazing so far. And just being able to teach that there are other opportunities out there besides cheerleading and gymnastics is amazing.
Yeah.
So
how old are you, Shayla?
I'm 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you going to keep weightlifting too, or is that like?
Yeah, definitely. I've been able to do my practices at the school, and I go down and train with Spencer and the rest of my team a couple times a week. So I've been able to fit in both.
So because they're down in Atlanta, right? I mean, they're.
It's in Swanee, so it's about an hour from the school.
That's not bad.
It's not a bad drive at all.
Yeah, especially if you just coming down 85 and there's no traffic, that's a very easy thing to do.
Yeah, when there is no traffic.
When there's when there's traffic, that's a week-long drive. I mean, it's
right. Yeah, for sure.
So go ahead, Christy. I'm sorry, I've been kind of dominating the conversation.
No, it's I like to listen. So I was just curious, like how old you are, in the sense of like weightlifting as well as like career and stuff. Like I think that's cool. And really, you've only been weightlifting 3 years, so you're so young. And
it took me a long time to learn that 3 years is young in weightlifting in the weightlifting world. So
you clean and jerk phenomenally well.
Mm-hmm.
So how are the snatches coming?
The snatches are coming along better. Just being able to focus on consistency, of course, and just little technical things that I need to drill into my head. And I'm a visual person, so being able to receive feedback from Spencer on camera and being able to go back and review those snatches and even those clean and jerks have been really helpful. So really just consistency is my biggest thing in snatch, and just getting over the it's competition, so don't fall out of everything you've done in training.
That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, girl, you're not going to forget overnight how to snatch.
Right. Yeah. So really just trusting my training when I get up there to do the snatch. And with it being the first thing at the meets, I'm literally just like, okay, Shayla, like this is the first thing. Don't freak out. Like, you know what you're doing. Just go up there and snatch it. Like, you're strong enough. Just do it.
Yeah, you're certainly strong enough. That is never going to be the problem.
Yeah, because what are your squats? Like I always love to watch your squats because I'm like, all right, whatever Shayla's doing, I can do it. Like I'm like chasing.
Yeah, no, my squat. So my best front squat is 149, and my best back squat is 165.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
That is just unbelievable. That is just unbelievable to me. Because what are your bests?
Mine is 145, 165. So
Okay,
I'm right behind her.
Right there. Holy cow.
But I just need those lifts. Well, I always tell my coach, I'm like, look, strength is not my issue. I know I'm strong as an ox. Mm-hmm. I just need those legs to show up when I'm actually lifting.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, people are always surprised, you know, you catch it clean. Like you catch it clean like I catch it clean. Like it kind of gets you in the bottom. And I'm like, girl, like I can stand up anything I get under. I just have to get under it. And it can rock me in the bottom, but I'll be able to stand it up. Like it's not heavy.
Yeah, it definitely is just like, if I can figure out the technique to pull off the floor and into getting my elbows up, I can stand it up. I just have to get it there first and fast enough. So
for me, it's that little momentum of where that transition where the bar has to go up, but you have to go down.
Right.
In both of the lifts, it's that like that split second transition is where my body's like, all right, where are we going?
It's like, oh, what are we doing? Like I just pulled the floor. Now how do I get under it? I know you're gonna stand it up, but yeah, I definitely get it. It's the turnover.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because both of you guys, once you get it loaded on your legs, it is lifts over. I mean, at that point, it's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it is, and I mean that's true with I won't say a lot of athletes because a lot of people do have struggling coming off the floor, but yeah, the two of you once it's on your chest, it's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is always,
I mean, I know people who clean and jerk more than they squat, which is so far beyond my imagination.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
which I think is cool. The sport is either there's strength and technique.
Right. Yeah.
So what is an average, you know, with you living in an hour away from Spencer's gym, what does an average week look like for you? And then what does an average like training session look like for you?
Mm-hmm. So, well, I live 30 minutes from the gym. So I live about halfway from the gym, halfway from.
Okay.
So that's really helpful. But an average day right now, with it being the summer, I do a lot of my work from home because I can recruit from home. I can make all my phone calls from home, all my orders and things that I need to do for my team from home, unless I have a recruit come to the school. So a lot of my work is at home right now. I go to training once a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, take off Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll train Friday and Saturday.
So are you how many sessions a week are you doing? Just
one session.
5. Okay.
Yeah, just 5 sessions a week. And
are they singles or doubles? Do you ever do doubles?
No, I don't do doubles. I did do doubles before, but then I was trying to figure out like my work schedule and everything. So I dropped to singles, and it's actually still been working pretty fine. So pretty much just doing 5 sessions a week, about 3 hours a session, depending on what I'm doing and how my body's feeling.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So in whatever ideal is, does Spencer prefer to have like double days? Mm-hmm. Like if you were able to, would double days be more of the preference rather than singles? I only do singles because I can't. Doubles.
I definitely think Spencer would prefer that I did double days. But I feel like he knows my lifestyle and knows everything that I'm trying to do. And he really like appreciates that. And that I'm trying to do have another life outside of weightlifting.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that he would prefer I do 2 sessions just to be able to get more reps in, be able to focus in on more things like pulls, and, just be able to do my squats, like maybe earlier in the morning and then be able to focus on my lifts later on in the afternoon. So yeah, I think he would prefer that I did 2 sessions, but he respects that I can only do 1.
Yeah. I tried 2 sessions and I was like super stressed out.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, you had mentioned, I mean, you're on such a weird clock that doing doubles is just not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for you, I mean, you have to drive back and forth, Shayla. And I mean, that gets a little difficult.
Time.
A 3-hour session, man, that gets to be pretty brutal in and of itself.
Yeah. It definitely just depends on, like, like I said, what I'm doing. If I have squats in that, what my accessories are, how my body's feeling is probably the biggest thing. Like, am I going to be slow and sluggish today? Like, amped and energized, so yeah, a lot of different factors, but definitely that how my body feels that day.
So curious about the day. So like your actual training session, do you do snatch and clean and jerk each day, or like some variation of that? Or do you have a snatch day, a clean day, a jerk day, and then like snatch, clean and jerk day? You know what I'm saying? Like how is that?
Yeah. So typically it is like it's a snatch day, clean day, jerk day, break, clean and jerk. And Saturdays or whatever Spencer feels I need most work on, which normally is snatches or jerks. Yeah. And so like Mondays I'll have squats and snatches. And then I won't squat on Tuesdays, and then I'll squat again on Wednesdays, and then squat again on Saturdays. So those sessions are definitely a little longer, but like I said, depends on how my body's feeling.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you are unbelievably close to the 200 kilo mark for total. I haven't hit, I don't recall you hitting a 200 kilo total yet, have you?
I haven't.
You're 197.
Yes.
So I assume that at a minimum is a goal for next weekend.
Yes, definitely.
Join the elite group that's sitting at the 200 kilo plus total group. Because there's only at the moment there's only 6. So yeah, I would expect you to join that group next week. What other goals do you have for nationals? If you want to share, and you don't actually have to share if there's some super secret theory going on.
Yeah, no, I mean, my biggest goal is just to go out there and just be consistent in the training room, in the training hall, and then just go out there and display that on the mat in my first attempt. So that's really my biggest thing, is just getting out there, being able to hit that first attempt, and then I'm all game after that, just getting out those first nerves of that first
and so
if I can do that, just go 3 for 3 snatch, 3 for 3 clean and jerk, and if I can do that, I will hit my goals. So
yeah, I mean, we've been talking a lot about ring rust, as they call it in boxing, but platform rust. Nobody's been on a competition platform for 18 months. I mean, for the most part, unless you did the Arnold in 2020, that was the last time anybody's been on a major platform, or at least a significant number of the athletes. And so, yeah, I mean, are you feeling any of that, or is it all, you think it'll just come back as soon as you get up there?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm excited for it. Just not being on a platform for so long. I'm one of those people who does better under pressure and being able to be in front of people. I liked doing the virtual meets. It was great and fun, but I like being in front of a crowd and being able to see my competitors and not just hear Spencer say, "Okay, you're up." Okay. And like,
it's anticlimactic when you're like,
I hate virtual. I was actually more stressed out in a virtual competition because it's like having to coordinate everything. What if the videos go out? What if like the power cords don't work? Like, super stressed out. So yeah, it's like a different stress. There's different.
I mean, we found, like, because I had a couple of my youth athletes that were competing, and it was really hard to build energy.
There's like none.
And I got this as the announcer too. It was like, okay, how do I engage? But I found when I was coaching athletes, even at the level that I coach at, getting these guys like fired up to actually go take a lift, you don't get the adrenaline, you don't get that roar of the crowd kind of feeling. I mean, it was hard. It was a definite, there was a definite loss on that end. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having all of you guys back, lifting all in person. And I'm talking to two of the athletes that I'm most, looking forward to watching. And then we've talked to the rest of them, and I am like super excited to get you guys all back on a platform.
Yeah,
Mark,
it's nothing
Mark
like
misses
actually
his
being out
humans.
there.
Yeah, and you know, part of what I wanted to do was like interview everybody and get to know everybody a little bit better, because I'm doing the color from the speakers table. And yeah, so getting to know all of you has just been like such a blast for me, because I've been watching, you know, for the last number of years.
Yeah.
And you know, but I'm so excited to have all of you back on a platform, you know, competing in person.
Yeah.
So what kind of what is I always like to talk about mindset, because that's what I see as you guys are going out on the platform. So, you know, when you're talking about, you know, go with one of your heavier clean and jerks. So, you know, you got 112, 114 on the bar. How do you get in the mindset to go out and take that lift? What does that last minute look like for you?
So it's definitely me telling myself, don't freak out. Trust your training. You're strong enough. You got this. You've done this before. Use your legs, like legs. If I could just really just use my legs, and just remember all those different cues that Spencer's giving me over the past 12 weeks or so. But not overbear myself by like, hey, okay, remember to pull off the floor like this, and then remember to have your chest up on the jerk. Like, if I try not to overbear myself and just remember, you've got it, you trained for this for so long, you're capable of doing this. Yeah, really just reminding myself how capable I am of completing the lift successfully.
And do you have anything, I mean, as you walk out on the platform, or I mean, is there a series of motions that you go through to actually get ready? Christy talks about, you know, double gripping each side of the bar, starts with the left hand. I mean, like, there's this whole routine. Do you have a routine that you
I am very methodical.
Yeah, no, I actually don't have like my own kind of like routine or anything. I can imagine that as I progress through the sport in a couple of years that I will develop one. But right now I kind of just go out there, grab the bar, and just clean it, jerk it.
Grip it and rip it, huh?
Yeah, which I need to start taking stuff away, because I feel like I keep adding, and I've been adding since the beginning. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Walk up to the damn bar and lift.
Yeah.
So, and what's the back room look like for you? Are you one of these athletes that is just laser focused, don't talk to me? Or, yep, is that where you're at?
Yeah, I kind of get in my headphones. Spencer's like, oh my gosh, I didn't think you were going to be like that, because at the gym, I'm like, okay, hey, like, so what are you doing? This is what I'm doing. So like, I'm kind of like all bubbly and everywhere when I'm in the gym. But then I kind of change a little bit and get a little more focused, get into my headphones and things and just listen to music or something, just to hype myself up. I try not to like watch around at everything that's going on, try to just cue in on myself and what Spencer has.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely one that's like a little more to myself and focused. So, but I will talk to you.
What's that?
But I will talk to you if you come talk to me. Some people are just like,
well, yeah, I mean, I never talk to any of the athletes when at least before snatches. Never talk to any of them, because I'm like, last thing I want to do is disrupt whatever mindset somebody is in.
That's a good point too, in snatches. So like, after snatches are done, like, come talk to me and have a ball with me, because like, when that's over, I'm like, okay, cool, like that was over.
That, I will tell you, seems to be a universal truism. You'll get your head torn off for talking to people before snatches, but in the intermission, everybody's like, you can feel the energy of the room is just different if everybody snatches. Now,
because we can all breathe a little bit. But getting through snatches is like, all right, I have to have all cylinders have to be firing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, a day of, are you one of these athletes that's like just in your hotel room, not watching Instagram, or are you watching what's going on around you? What are you doing?
Yeah, I do like I like to watch the meet online, especially like nationals is pretty much like all day long. So I do like to watch it, my mind pretty much there. I do try to stay off my feet. That was hard for me at first, because Spencer would always tell me like, go sit down somewhere, just stop walking around, stop back with all your other teammates. So I definitely do try to, prop my legs up in the hotel, especially depending on where my cut is. I'm probably a little angry or trying to be hangry or whatever. But I haven't really had like a severe cut where I was just like really thought that I wasn't going to make it. So that hasn't really been a problem yet. But yeah, pretty much just relaxing, staying off my feet. Lucky for us, we're weighing in at 4 and then lifting at 6. So it's not too early, too late or anything like that. So
yeah, the flip side of that though, if you're borderline weight, that means you're going all day without food.
Yeah. But then again, you have a lot of time to try to get the weight off.
Yeah. I personally like it later because I have more time to manipulate versus if you go at 10 in the morning, okay, now you've got to wake up at like 6 and you've got to figure it out. So now you're like, don't sleep well because you have to get up early. And then it's like a cram session where for me,
you're like stressing all night.
Yeah. And you don't sleep well, which is the most important. And so, and like, also you'll lose more if you sleep well versus being stressed out. So I'm glad that it's at 4 because I'll know I'll sleep and I can get up and I have all day to manipulate.
It's a good time for sure.
Yeah. I just love the fact that you guys are lifting at 6 because that is like the spotlight event for the day.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting because, well, one of my other teammates is lifting at the exact same time, and he's also the A session. Yeah. So I'm like, it sucks because they're also like, I think there's probably going to be a platform in between us. Mm-hmm. And so Kara's going to be like, woo, like, I don't know how it's going to go down, but
that's actually an interesting point. I mean, because they'll I'm assuming they'll leave the platform in between us open because you guys are lifting on. Yeah, blue.
I don't know. I don't know which one specifically. I just know that there's a blank spot in the because there's like 3 platforms, and in the 6 o'clock slot, there's one of the platforms doesn't have a session. Yeah. As of now, I don't know if they're going to change it. I just hope we don't move to Saturday morning.
No, I don't think they're going to. They're not going to move anybody around.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
I hate Saturday morning.
That schedule is pretty fixed from what I understand. The only reason we have 3 platforms is because during the youths you have to have 3. I don't see them breaking down a platform in between. I think they'll just probably leave it up.
It's just
it doesn't take that long to break them down, but it does take a long. I mean, it's not easy to reset up, so I can't imagine they're going to want to move anything. So yeah, you guys are pretty well fixed for Friday night, and that's prime time right there.
It's a prime lifting time for sure.
Yeah.
From like a viewership standpoint too. I mean, it's everybody can watch.
No pressure. Definitely. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, guys. Don't perform well. Don't worry about it. It's nothing rides on this. It's all good. So you mentioned music. What are you listening to?
So I listen to a lot of rap music, a lot of interestingly dubstep music. I like those little beat drops, and just that kind of like crazy, chaotic, like, okay, look, let's go do this, just something that's really upbeat, kind of gets my mood going.
Anything in particular that you like?
No, nothing in particular. Kind of just, I kind of just go to a playlist on Spotify and just.
So any kind of good dubstep is good?
Yeah.
All right. I'm still trying to coordinate a walkout list for everybody. I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to pull that off. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone's is kind of a little everywhere.
It is. It has been. We have gotten wildly different answers across the board from Chrissy and her. What do you call it? Reggae mon?
Reggaeton.
Chrissy and her reggaeton, and then got a couple of athletes like, no, I like that silence, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's achievable.
So, Christy, you like to talk about nutrition, and so I'll let we have around.
Yeah, I'm always just curious, and I think a lot of people are, in general, of like, how's your nutrition far out from a competition versus like as you dial it in, or are you pretty like easy? Like, yeah, how's your eating? Are you
So
crazy?
I don't track anything ever. I love cooking, like I said earlier. So it's literally everything. Like I cook all kinds of different things, go and try
Nice.
different kinds of restaurants, Korean barbecue, Indian food, all kinds of American foods. So that's me all the way outside of competition. I tried,
Yum.
So
yeah.
what's your favorite thing to cook?
It's so hard because I get all these cookbooks. I get all these cookbooks and like everything that I see on TV. Instead of saying, okay, I'm gonna go try to get that, I'm gonna try to make that.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I love to cook.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily have like a favorite thing I like to cook right now because I'm kind of everywhere. Like I'm just gonna try to cook this and whatever is good is good. And then my husband is just like, yes, I'm just gonna eat anything, which is great.
Food.
Yeah, food, good, love it. So yeah, that's me. Far out of competition, probably like 3 weeks out, depending on how bad I picked out. I try to start like cleaning up my eating. Probably try not to eat anything fast food. And I try just to not go out to eat as much too. So really more just trying to cook more at home, less extravagant things. Yeah, I don't really have like a huge method or anything because I haven't had to have one to make it work.
That's nice.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really boring in terms of nutrition. I don't have like a macro count or like a.
Which I think is awesome because for like me personally, I feel like I have to be on my A game, like for so long, because my body likes to just set heavy. And I think it's a number of things. Like, yes, I'm 40. Like, I'm more worried about menopause than I am about like, you know. And so, yeah, I'm more so just jealous because I have to be on my A game for so. I feel like it's almost year round. It sucks.
And again, as you're the ninth person we've interviewed in the last couple of months, and that question has gotten more different responses. We have, Kelly Wild that we talked to last week, who has to track every gram that goes into her body because she's diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're sitting there telling us, I'll eat whatever I want. And kind of, I
feel like
told us the same thing. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know.
I feel like the more majority of who we have talked to though have been more lenient. Let me say this because I was shocked. I thought more people would be stricter, but totally more people were like, I'm fine. I just eat what I want. And I more so is like, that's not fair.
Yeah. Well, I do think that if I did like watch what I ate more and didn't like pig out as much, maybe my training cycle would be better. Spencer could agree with me on that. But after like trying to cut down from like 62 to 59, I'm like, yes, it's over. It's time to eat again. The cycle just keeps going on.
I know. Every time I think after a cut, I'm like, I am not putting myself through that misery again. I'm just going to stay low. And then after I lift, I'm like, oh, give me the food. Like I haven't had food forever.
Yeah.
So I'm like this.
Definitely.
I just can't imagine like going through that kind of work and not being like, okay, I'm going to go eat. I'm, want food, whatever that is. So what?
Because everything sounds good after, like everything. I want to eat
literally everything.
Sweet, salty, fatty, like all of it. I want to eat all of it and lots of it. That's my problem. Is I'm not like I'll just take one bite. I mean, when I'm cutting, I am like one bite's great, but like post competition, I'm like, no, give me the whole cake.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So what is your big indulgence after a meet?
I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily even have a big indulgence. Like, I just like to go to a restaurant and be able to order whatever I want.
Yeah.
So I don't have like a specific thing. Like, I know some people is like, I love donuts. Some people are like, I just want to eat a whole pie or a cake, a whole big plate of pasta or something. Like, I'm just like, I just want to go to a restaurant and just order an appetizer, a main dish, and a dessert. So
and not have to worry about it. Okay, where are we eating after, Shayla? I'm coming with you.
Yeah, so I haven't even looked really around the area. Like I saw a bunch of restaurants and things, but yeah, I
It's got to be something. Are you saying that's not?
Well, I'm saying it's not Vegas, where.
Well, I don't know. There could be really good steak. We went to Kansas, and it was the best barbecue ever.
You do make a valid point. I mean, there's got to be some place where there's going to be good food.
Yeah.
No, even when we went to Milwaukee, we went and had like cheese curds and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just we'll find out what the local fare is and go go grab food.
Yeah. Honestly, for a sec to get my computer charger. Christy, when I look at your Instagram and I see what you're eating, I'm like, shoot, should I be eating that?
I eat super boring right now. Super boring. Yeah. And I told you, like, I'm just in a different space. Like, I have this hair that's driving me nuts. I'm just in a different space.
What are you doing with your hair today?
Oh my gosh, my hair. It's
like a new haircut.
It's like whatever shows up, I don't even care. But I think for me, I think I just really have to acknowledge the fact that, so I feel great. Like physically, I don't feel 40, but I believe my metabolism is 40. And on top of this, like I weightlift. So yeah, I train 3 hours a day. And then I sit at a computer and I type all day. So I don't get any cardio. My, excuse me, I am trying to beat this cold before next week. Like my body, I never get a spike in energy. So I just don't think I burn near what I think. And I'm not on my feet. Like Shayla's coaching on her feet.
Right.
I sit.
So that definitely helped when I started like actually having to be at practice and actually having to like go and walk around to do things. That definitely like kept my body weight lower. The training cycle, like during the school year for sure.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, I'm an accountant. I'm at the desk all day long. So, which is good for recovery because otherwise I feel like it's a catch-22.
Right.
I can't be on my feet all day either.
Because you're 40, recovery is now a lot more important. I mean,
okay, but in my head, I'm 20.
Dude, in my head, I'm 20, and it is definitely not reflective in the way I look anymore. I mean, I'm
20 with a lot of wrinkles.
20 had a little bit more hair. My head wasn't nearly as shiny as it is this morning. So, Shayla, finish the sentence for me. You know you're a weightlifter when blank.
You know you're a weightlifter when you get your nails done and you get the acrylics, the fake nails, and you take the thumbs off so you can train.
I've never heard that one. That's hilarious.
Oh my God, that could be the best answer yet.
Yeah, I got my nails done for my wedding. First time I got my nails done and got the fake nails the whole time that I've been doing weightlifting. So probably 3 years, I used to always wear my fake nails. Got my nails done for my wedding, went to train the next week, like after, and I was like, I have to take these off. Like I just gotten them done and they were like really fresh. And I was like, I don't even care that this might rip my nail off. So,
yeah, that would be bad. If you just like pulled the thumbnail off, that would hurt a lot.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much I relied on my thumbnails being short. So yeah.
Is it Cecily Kyle that comes out and her nails are all like super really, I mean, they're like long and well done. Is that who I'm thinking of?
No, I don't think her nails are ever long. I think like her natural nails are kind of long, but I don't think she has like the fake ones.
Oh, okay. And I know like Lydia Valentine comes out, her nails are always really manicured, but I don't think they're long.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do long.
Yeah, I mean, because as Christy pointed out last week, I mean, it's the calluses. I mean, your hands are just beat up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine like maintaining any kind of nails would be hard. So you did acrylics for your wedding?
Yeah, I did acrylics for my wedding, and then I was like, well, this was great for the day. And I took my thumbs off and just wore no thumbs until I was just ready to take all of them off. So now they're all off. Don't plan on going back until I have some other huge event, which I don't see trying to get my nails done again and then just taking the thumbs off. So,
But I mean, you couldn't have long nails when you're doing the acrobatic stuff either, could you? I mean,
yeah, I could. It was so like when you're doing like anything like where your hand is on the ground, it's flat on the ground.
oh yeah,
or like this. And then like grips and things weren't bad. But like the hook grip, oh my gosh, is horrible with long nails. So I let those things go quick.
So Christy, why don't you go ahead and take our last question, and then we'll wrap up with Shayla and wrap up our first season, actually.
All right. So, well, Shayla, you're pretty new into the sport anyway. Mm-hmm. So what would you tell someone who's new to weightlifting that you wish you would have known, or like something advice you'd give someone new to the sport?
Advice I'd say is it's going to be a long journey. Be ready for the journey. I always thought that because I was super strong, or I am super strong, and like because I can squat a lot, or because I can do this and that, weightlifting is not a brute strength sport. So yeah, you just to be able to trust your coach, trust your training, like we've said this whole entire podcast, and pretty much just be along for the ride and know that it's not going to be okay, well, if I'm not a great weightlifter in a year, I'm going to quit. Really, yeah, just don't give up, trust your training, and just know that it's not going to be a night and day thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly you're in it for the long haul, and it's interesting that we're closing this season exactly where we started, which was, this is not a brute sport strength.
Yeah,
brute strength sport. It is. There's a lot of technique. There's a lot of finesse, a lot of mental prowess that goes along with it. Yeah. So Shayla, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I appreciate that you are in the final throes of getting ready for your competition, which is a week from today.
Yeah.
And so I look so forward to seeing both of you in Detroit next Friday evening. And, we're looking forward to a great competition. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.